I am so excited for this. With millions of followers on social media, our next guest has become known as America's Mom. Her new cookbook is called Cooking from the Spirit. Please welcome the amazing Tabitha Brown.
Love your energy, everything about you. I was like, she's actually real. I'm here.
Girl, yes, very good. How you doing?
I am wonderful. I love your spirit.
Thank you.
It is amazing, and it's just amazing to have you here. Okay, now I want to talk about your journey. Did you ever think that you would,
Girl,
go this far?
Right. Look at us. Oh my God. Hey, listen, I never thought in a million years that my life today would be my life. Like I feel like I had myself in a box for a long time. Because growing up and, pursuing, I always just thought I want to be an actress. That's it. Wow. And so that was me saying, that's it. I'm just an actress. But when I said, you know what, God, you can have me and have your way with me, and I'm going to be who you created me to be, I walked through every door he opened. And it has blessed me.
When did you realize you were this popular?
Oh, girl. I realized it. So, I've been doing this about 5 years, right? And I was doing like Facebook Lives and cooking, and every night, I was growing my audience, naturally, organically. Yes. And in March of 2020 is when I got on TikTok, because, my daughter told me to get on there. And then
2020.
In 2020, during the height of the pandemic. So for like a whole year, my following went from like 500,000 to like millions. But I was in the house. And so I was like, oh, I got these numbers. This is great. But I want to equate that to people. And then when I went to Chicago to shoot The Shy, I was like, oh, it's a Whole Foods down the street. I'm going to go walk to Whole Foods. And I went walking down the street, and people started like honking the horns and like rolling the window down like, Tat. I was like, oh, these people know who I am. And so then I remember thinking like, Lord.
It's so amazing.
But it didn't really click for me that way. And then when I got, to Whole Foods and finished, I was like, I think I might need an Uber back. And so when I got back, I called my husband. I said, I think I'm famous. And he was like, hey, what you talking about? I was like, the people was knowing me on the street. And so that's when I knew. So early 2021 is like when it really clicked, like, oh, okay, I think I'm a little bit popular.
Yeah, more than a little bit popular, that's for sure. So outside of that, what's the biggest lesson that you feel you've learned so far from
the biggest lesson has been that I was always enough. Yes.
Always enough.
Always enough. Because for a really long time, I tried to be somebody else, right? I tried to fit in. And when you try to fit in, honey, how you going to stand out, right?
Right.
And so when I decided to be free and go on my freedom walk and just be, I realized, wait a minute. So do you mean the tab that I covered up forever was already enough? She's enough just as she is. We're always enough just as we are. And so that has definitely been the lesson. And then the other lesson that doesn't always feel well is realizing that everybody can't go.
You better speak.
Everybody can't go.
That is true.
Right?
Yes.
And I have a very giving spirit, and I love to be like, come on, y'all, like, come and see what the Lord has done. Like, everybody, let's go. But God had to, he had to settle me on that. He said, listen, when you keep trying to bring everybody, you're getting distracted from what I'm trying to show you. And so the people who are supposed to come, you don't have to turn around and grab them. They're right here.
They'll be right there.
You know who to grab.
Yes. I'm so happy you sit on this couch, honey. She can get some life lessons, honey. Yeah. I'm so glad you're sitting right here. I'm listening real good, too. Okay, now, I have a son, and he loves basketball. Your baby loves basketball, too.
His Quest loves basketball.
Yeah.
Honey, 10, and he think he already in it.
Oh.
Look at my baby. That's him, honey. He got my whole face, don't he? I love it. Tell my husband, too. He got my whole face. But, yes, he loves basketball from the time he was a baby. Look at him.
From the time he was a baby? Did he watch his dad play?
Word was basketball. Back-a-ball was his first word, back-a-ball. And so when I was pregnant with my daughter, right? He sleep with balls.
He sleeps with
it's
the
a
ball.
real thing from the time he was a baby. My daughter used to play basketball. So when I was pregnant, we was in basketball games every week, every weekend. And then when he was born, we was at games every weekend. So he, you know, it was inevitable that he was going to know basketball.
Yeah.
But we didn't know that he would just love it the way he does. But he is a diehard basketball fan. He loves Dame Lillard, honey. That's his player.
Did he get to meet him?
Listen, he didn't meet him in person, but he met him on
Oh, we gotta see the clip.
Yes.
Hey, I told you I know Daddy here. Look right here. Come here. Look, he wanted.
What's up?
Don't cry. Hey, you crying, man. Ew, man. Ew, talk to him.
That is adorable.
Look at me every time I see
totally
it.
understand. That's how I was with my son.
Yeah.
They love their basketball, right?
He loves Dame, and we didn't know he would have that reaction. Because listen, Quest be cool as a fan. He'd be like, yeah, you know, like don't nothing really face him. And so we were like, okay. And he's met other like NBA players, but that's his guy.
That's his guy.
And we team LeBron in our house, and he'd be like, that's good. Okay.
Here we go.
And he loved LeBron too, but he loved Dame. So we had no idea he was gonna have that reaction. So I'm hoping to take him to a game this season so he can actually meet him in person.
That sounds amazing to me. I understand because my baby loves his basketball.
Yeah.
Recently, you met Patti LaBelle. What was that like? Everything about Mama Patti. Yes, it is.
Listen, saw her in concert at S. And then we were at the airport at the same time. And my heart was like I froze. And in my moment, I was like, oh my God, it's Patti LaBelle. But when she turned, she said, oh girl, you the girl to be smiling. See? You know who I am. I don't care if she's called me the girl who smiles. She ain't got to call me that. Okay? But my mama was a Patti fan. Like, she loved purple. Like, she loved Patti LaBelle. And when my mom was sick in 2006, we thought that she was about to die then, even though she lived for another year. I got the call that, like, I need to come home and say goodbye to my mother. And it was like all of a sudden, like, it was very it wasn't like, oh, we know she's sick. It was like, it's something just happened. And I had got to the airport, and I was a mess that day. And I had a layover in Philadelphia. And when I got on my flight, Patti was sitting in first class. And when I looked at her, she winked at me. And I got to my seat, and I cried the entire flight home to go see my mama. And I remember getting there and telling her, you know, after she woke up and things, Mama, I saw Patti LaBelle. Like, she was on my flight. She winked at me. You gonna be all right. Like, it was like a sign for me. So to be able to see her and meet her and to tell her, my mama loves you. And, you know, I love you. It was just such a moment. Just in the airport.
That is beautiful.
Wow. More with Tabitha. We'll be right back.